Why Earth? Katherine whispered, her eyes scanning the vast blue planet below them. You should ask the council, Laura replied with a sigh, her long silver hair cascading like liquid light around her shoulders. She stared out at the distant stars, her mind far away from this new, strange world. I know, Katherine muttered, shifting restlessly beside her. I still can't believe they sentenced us here. Earth. Of all places, their exile had come as a punishment, a cruel consequence for breaking one of their own kind's most sacred laws, one they still didn't fully understand. But here they were, stranded on a world with oceans and skies that they knew from their studies, but could never have fully prepared for. A planet filled with creatures who would either worship them as gods or be terrified of them. Earth, full of mysteries, yet now their unwanted home. Laura turned her gaze to the horizon where the sun began to dip behind the mountains, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple. There was a feeling in the air, something she couldn't quite place. A strange vibration, like a pull, an energy. I don't care about Earth. I just want to go home, Katherine continued, her voice shaky, like she was trying to convince herself more than anyone else. But Laura wasn't listening anymore. She had been sensing it too, a presence. Someone, or something, was coming their way. Before Katherine could ask what was wrong, there was a flash, a pulse of light from a nearby forest. Two figures emerged from the trees, their movements swift but graceful, like they belonged to another world entirely. Both men, their expressions serious yet somehow familiar. Katherine's eyes narrowed. Is that? Yes, Laura whispered, her voice filled with a mix of awe and fear. They're human. The men approached cautiously, stopping a few yards from the two alien women. Their eyes were wide, filled with curiosity and suspicion. Laura could feel the heat from their gazes, but there was no hostility in their posture. They had questions, just like the aliens did. Who are you? The taller of the two men asked, his voice gentle but firm. His dark brown eyes studied them, and there was something almost comforting in his gaze. Katherine frowned, stepping forward protectively, but Laura held out a hand to stop her. We're lost, Laura said softly, her accent strange to their ears. We didn't mean to come here. The man raised an eyebrow. You didn't mean to come to Earth? Laura nodded. No, but we're stuck here now. The second man, smaller and more muscular, glanced at the other, confusion crossing his face. Who are you really? And why do you look different? Laura could feel the tension rising in the air. She stepped forward slowly, trying to find the right words. We're not from here. You're aliens? The first man asked, his voice still steady. He wasn't afraid, though his eyes were wide with disbelief. Katherine glanced at Laura. You could say that, but we're not here to hurt you. We don't belong here. There was a long pause before the man spoke again. What do you want? Laura met his gaze, her mind racing. We didn't choose this. We're just trying to understand. The other man snorted in disbelief, but Laura could sense the fear behind his words. Trying to understand? From where? And what do you mean we're not from here? We are from far away, Laura replied. Our world, it's different. We were sent here as punishment. Katherine folded her arms, glaring at the men. I don't think it's any of your business, Laura sighed, placing a hand on Katherine's shoulder, signaling her to calm down. It's not that we don't trust you. We just need help. This planet isn't as welcoming as it seems. The two men exchanged a look, the taller one stepping forward. We don't know who or what you are, but we can help. We know this world better than anyone. If you're stuck here, we'll figure something out. Laura's heart skipped a beat. She didn't expect this. Their arrival on Earth hadn't been met with hostility, but this offer felt different. Like the beginning of something neither she nor Katherine could have anticipated. Thank you, Laura said, her voice soft, yet there was a glimmer of something deeper beneath her words, a feeling she couldn't quite place. The taller man nodded, smiling faintly. I'm John, and this is Andrew. Katherine raised an eyebrow, still skeptical but intrigued. John and Andrew? Yeah, John replied, his smile widening just a bit. Is that a problem? Katherine looked at Laura. For a brief moment, It felt like everything had shifted. The air between them had changed. There was no longer a sense of just survival. It was something deeper, something that hinted at the bond forming between the four of them, whether they liked it or not. Days passed, and the bond between the two alien girls and the two human men began to grow. It wasn't instant. There were misunderstandings, moments of tension, and a lot of questions left unanswered. But slowly, as they fought side by side to protect this strange new world from forces they barely understood, their connection deepened. And somewhere along the way, amidst the battles and the constant uncertainty, something more than friendship began to form. Something unexpected. Something neither John nor Andrew, nor Laura nor Katherine could have predicted. "Why are we still fighting?" Katherine asked one night, as the stars flickered above them. "I don't understand. Why do we keep pushing forward when we know it's not our battle?" Laura turned her eyes to the sky, her expression soft. "Because this isn't just about punishment anymore. This is our home now. And no matter what we were sent here to do, we've found something worth fighting for." Katherine looked at her, her eyes searching for something she couldn't quite put into words. "What is that, Laura? What's worth all of this?" Laura turned to her, her lips curling into a faint smile. "Us. Our new home. And maybe them." She nodded toward John and Andrew, who were standing a little farther away, sharing a quiet conversation of their own. Katherine's heart skipped a beat as she followed Laura's gaze. "You think that could be possible?" Laura's voice softened, almost a whisper. "I think anything is possible now." The days on Earth stretched into weeks, and with each passing moment, the bond between the four grew stronger, a thread weaving them together across different worlds. What had started as mere survival turned into something deeper. Laura and Katherine, once cold and distant, began to understand the strange humans who had become their allies, and in a way, their salvation. Laura often found herself in quiet moments, staring out at the stars, the familiar glimmer of the galaxy above now seeming a little less distant, a little more homelike. Katherine was less cynical, no longer the alien who fought only to escape her punishment. Now, she fought because she believed in the cause. They all did. One day, while John and Andrew were away scouting the perimeter of the forest, Laura and Katherine sat in the small shelter they had built together. The fire crackled between them, its warmth a contrast to the cool night air. There was an unspoken understanding between them now, a comfort. "You know," Katherine said softly, her voice almost too quiet against the night's stillness, "I never thought I'd find myself here. I always thought love was some human illusion." Laura smiled faintly, her eyes still on the stars. "I once thought love was a weakness, that it was something you couldn't afford, especially when you're sent here, far from your own world." Katherine chuckled, shaking her head. "Look at us now. I never thought I'd feel this way about anyone." "No, neither did I," Laura whispered, her heart softening. "But, John, Andrew, they've shown us that there's more to life than we ever imagined." Katherine sighed, her gaze also drawn to the flickering sky. "You're right. They make me feel things I didn't think I was capable of." Her voice dropped into a gentle whisper, "And sometimes when I look at Andrew, I think, maybe, just maybe, this punishment was meant to teach us something we didn't know we needed." Laura's smile deepened. "Perhaps. Maybe the universe has a way of making us find our humanity, even when we're far from our own home." The night grew quiet, and the two girls sat in the comfort of each other's company, their bond growing with every passing minute. But the peace was fleeting. As the days turned into weeks, the danger surrounding them increased. The very force that had sent Laura and Katherine to Earth, the Alien Council, now sent its agents to retrieve them. They couldn't allow two of their own to remain on a world so beneath them, to form attachments that could weaken their kind. One evening, John and Andrew returned from their mission with alarming news. "They're coming," John said, his voice grim, his face shadowed with worry. "We've been tracking them. They know where we are. They're not far behind." Katherine's eyes hardened. "They always said we'd be hunted if we didn't comply. They'll never stop." Andrew placed a hand on her shoulder, trying to offer comfort. "We'll stop them. Together." But Laura, her voice quiet but filled with resolve, interrupted. It's not just about stopping them anymore. It's about protecting everything we've found here. She met John and Andrew's gaze, the weight of her words heavy in the air. It's about fighting for something that isn't just our duty, but our choice. John nodded, understanding in his eyes. Then we'll stand with you. We'll fight for Earth, for you, for us. The four of them stood together in the face of the impending threat. The humans, with all their flaws and weaknesses, had become more than just allies. They had become family. Laura and Katherine had come to understand the human heart, its strength, its capacity to love, even under pressure. And now, they would protect it. The battle was fierce. The agents from the alien council descended upon Earth in a flurry of energy beams and advanced technology. But they had underestimated the unity between the four of them. Laura and Katherine, with their otherworldly abilities, fought alongside John and Andrew, who brought with them the sheer force of human determination. In the midst of the chaos, as explosions echoed around them and energy crackled through the air, Laura found herself fighting not just for survival, but for something much deeper. She felt the pull of her heart toward John, a connection so strong that it had nothing to do with their origins or the laws of the alien world they had left behind. It was love, pure and undeniable. Katherine, too, fought with the same fervor, her eyes locked with Andrew's as they exchanged brief glances between strikes. There was a mutual understanding, a bond that had grown despite their differences. She knew that she had found something worth holding on to, something worth sacrificing for. And then, amid the frenzy of the battle, the unthinkable happened. The alien forces, defeated by the combined strength of the four of them, retreated. The world was safe for now, but the threat would always linger. The council would not forget their betrayal. But in that moment, as the dust settled and the ground began to calm, Laura, Katherine, John, and Andrew stood side by side, victorious. Their hearts beat in unison, their connection deeper than ever before. The days that followed were filled with healing, not just from physical wounds, but from the emotional scars they had all carried. Laura and Katherine, no longer bound by their past, found themselves falling in love with this strange new world and the humans who had shown them what true strength was. John and Andrew, once strangers, now felt like an extension of their own souls. What had started as an alliance for survival had turned into something deeper, a love that transcended space, time, and species. "I never thought I'd find this," Katherine whispered one night as she sat next to Andrew, the firelight dancing in her eyes. Andrew smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You mean love?" "Yes," she whispered, her voice filled with a mixture of awe and certainty. "It wasn't what I expected, but it's everything I never knew I needed." John, standing a little further away with Laura by his side, overheard the conversation and looked at her, his eyes warm with unspoken affection. "I feel the same way." Laura smiled, her heart full. "So do I." And so, what had begun as a tale of exile and punishment turned into a story of love, sacrifice, and understanding. Two alien girls, once cast out from their world, had found not only a new home but also a bond that transcended the stars. They had found love in the most unexpected of places, on a small, blue planet called Earth. As they stood together, looking at the vast sky above, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them as one. Because now, they were not just strangers from different worlds. They were family, and their love, strong, unyielding, and pure, was the greatest force in the universe. The tale of Laura, Katherine, John, and Andrew lived on, not just in the history of Earth, but in the hearts of those who believe that love, no matter where you come from, is always worth fighting for.